Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another live stream of Hearthstone. It is 4:45 Central Time in the United States, March 14th. So I did a slightly better job in a very awkward way to make sure I actually was awake at the right time to stream, or at least close to the 4:30 time that I typically try to start streaming. Oddly though, the YouTube streaming server, the primary server, is down, so we're going on the backup streaming server, which might include a significant increase in quality. So let me know in the chat if you see less buffering or more buffering or any problem like that. Buffering is probably the only thing I think anybody would notice. The crazy way I managed to stay awake today is I stayed awake for probably 16 hours plus, and then around 2 o'clock when I was thinking, oh, I'll just stream a little early and then fall asleep after the stream, I fell asleep and took a 2.5 hour nap and then woke up now, and that somehow worked. Insomnia is a crazy thing, certainly. Now, ideally here, we've got Paladin overlap we need to do on the Asian account. If we get these two done, we'll be good. We also have a Tavern Brawl, so let's start with that. You collided with another hero in your deck, some mixed up. Pick another hero at the start of the game. Your deck will be a random combination of the two classes. So I just need to start with Paladin because I'll have a pick of 3 each game of these I play. I have a ton of news and no desire whatsoever to stay streaming long today. On top of really liking to go back and sleep some more. Since I've only slept for like 2.5 hours in the past 20 hours. I also have managed to get a spasm in my back, so I'm not in great shape. If anything, in the years of streaming YouTube, it has opened the door to creating a situation where I could get a lot less healthy. Sitting for prolonged periods of time, like all the doctors say, is not a good idea. And, you know, just not being physically active is not a great idea. Let's see, do I want to add priest, druid, or shaman cards? And let's see, priest or druid. Druid might work well. Let's go with druid. Let's see. Open Critic has a review score of 65, which is labeled weak for the Devil May Cry HD collection. Now, I don't inherently I'm just going to end this turn. I don't inherently read Open Critic, so I'm not sure how to interpret that data. It says Devil May Cry HD collection is in the bottom 28% of games scored on Open Critic based on 17 reviews. And let's see if we can see the reviews. 8 are rated fair. The rankings are mighty, strong, fair, and weak, and the likes of these are just a bunch of icons of news and media. Let's see. See how Open Critic works. Open Critic might actually prove itself to be pretty useless. IG in Spain. Interesting. Alright, so you have to scroll down pretty low on OpenCritic to actually see the critic reviews, or you have to click the critics tab. I guess that's what you have to do. This literally is the first time I've ever looked at this. Looked at this website. I've been following them on Twitter, but they just haven't been tweeting reviews. Let's see. Metro Game Central says 6 out of 10 for PS4. A relatively complete remaster collection, but the games are so old now that without a full remake, newcomers will struggle to understand how they became beloved. Gear Nuke. Now there is this thing about critics, particularly ones that are on sites like OpenCritic or Metacritic, where some of them actually do intentionally write lower scores than are fair so that they end up getting more views. Gear Nuke says classic trilogy of games featuring the titular hero. Let's see, that really doesn't say anything, so let's just try and skim some of this. It's kind of a shame that these games are not getting reviewed very well, because I had hoped this might have been a great opportunity and excuse to play the old Devil May Cry in the best format, best way possible. But then again, it's not unheard of, because you know, a lot of Japanese companies just re-release and put a little polish on the game and don't do any real effort. Let's see. PlayStation Universe. The chance to properly spruce up Dante's first 3 adventures has been missed here. Instead, we get the already miserly remasters that appeared on the PS3 at a time where it'd be great to remember why Devil May Cry can be so good. We get minimal effort and Devil May Cry 2. And see, I also the thing that particularly would have been great for me about Devil May Cry HD being good is that it is effectively what Bayonetta's predecessor is. Like, the people, Platinum Games, I believe, made Devil May Cry, or at least the concept and the gameplay style is the same. Let's see, GamePro says the HD collection offers nothing new and looks technically dusty, only suitable for those who want to catch up on Dante's first performances. Maybe I am better off just having played DMC, but if they were gonna do anything with DMC, they've missed the boat by far. This is a rather slow game that's happening. Game Mag says, despite lazy efforts of Capcom, Devil May Cry HD Collection definitely will please the fans of the cult series from PlayStation 2, thanks to distinctive style, hardcore gameplay, and favorite characters in DMC and DMC 3. Nobody likes DMC 2, apparently. IGN Spain says it's a shame that Capcom did not want to include new features that would improve the game's experience for these 3 classics. Yeah, it is possible, very possible you could have done something to improve the game, put in more QuickTime event, autosave points, or let's see, poison this. Spazzo Games says Devil May Cry HD is a lazy work by the developers compared to the previous HD remaster, it doesn't add anything, and it even more accuses the old age of the saga. Interesting phrasing. My question on DMC HD collection is, how much of that really affects a PC gamer? Because the PC versions may actually be pretty old in comparison. It just may be that the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 versions got remasters and they didn't come out on PC. I have, with my new setup, opened pretty much every game that came out in the past couple days. Things like Pure Farming 2018. So there's a level of curation that needs to happen before I talk. So going forward, there will be probably times where I just go quiet a little bit, where I'm reading pages, looking at things like Badminton Kings VR, which doesn't have enough reviews to be rated. I don't know why you would want to play badminton in VR. Badminton in particular seems like one of the worst possible choices that you could have for a VR game, because you're going to be swinging your hand over your head, hitting ceilings and fans. You're going to be wildly jumping back and forth. Badminton and tennis, terrible examples for something to do in VR if you don't want to break your things. PC Gamer has an article: Hard-boiled cop RPG called No Truce with the Furies is now called Disco Elysium. It seems like it's an interesting shift in names while not drastically changing things. Like, maybe they couldn't get maybe they couldn't get the rights to the name No Truce with the Furies, or they realized that No Truce with the Furies is too long of a name, which fair enough, it is. You certainly heard examples of that when I'm reading DMC HD collection over and over again. Sudden attack to 3-3. Do this. Do this. In the turn. I just looked at the trailer for Disco Elysium and it doesn't look particularly special. It's going to be presented by the Humble Bundle. So yeah, it doesn't look super interesting. Dota Plus is a new subscription-based service that I suspect has heavily been introduced so that they can get rid of loot boxes. The thing I think Valve is trying to do is they don't want to have to follow that Chinese law that tells them how much that they have to disclose loot boxes. I'm not sure Dota had loot boxes in the first place, but now instead there's a subscription service where you, instead of getting random things, you pay a monthly fee, you get a currency, and with that currency you purchase the items that you want. It is also possible that Dota's $4 a month. Dota Plus is $4 a month with discounts for 6 and 12-month subscriptions. It is also possible that Dota 2 is just getting very long in the tooth. It's an older game, and this is an effort to keep people playing instead of leaving for something different. Which is gonna be an issue when they release Artifact, because a lot of people who love the lane concept in Dota, I imagine, could easily shift over to the lane concept in Artifact. But for me personally, I cannot see myself playing Artifact, and so I'm not even gonna really give it a fair shot. Like, if I can install the game for free, which I don't believe you can, I think you actually have to buy Artifact and then buy card packs on top of it, or earn card packs some other way. That's just not something I think. We're gonna go with shaming cards this time. See how that works. Murlocs now. Gamasutra, being the website where game developers and anybody can post, has an article. Game Arts International Network is a new resource for organizers. The Game Arts International Network is a new community-focused resource set up to connect existing game art organizations and fostering spaces in emerging regions. The new resource might be useful for developers interested in learning about the subjects relative to game arts organizers today, or have interest in establishing art residences in their own community. So, if I'm understanding what they're suggesting here, they're suggesting art communes from like the 70s, which maybe in some of those European countries that makes more sense, but it doesn't make a lot of sense in the United States. I mean, it's really just going to boil down to a bunch of video game artists or artists in general living together and sharing rent, which really doesn't solve the problem of them being underpaid and underemployed, unless I'm misunderstanding what this is. Established by former executive director of the Hand-Eye Society of Video Game Arts Organization, Jim Monroe, GAIN will provide information about a variety of game arts topics through an online sessions in the form of live discussions held between two people. So this is almost a scam charity, is what it feels like. It honestly feels more like they're just promoting like a YouTube channel, but they're calling it something different, like it's a charity. One individual with experience on the topic will have a conversation with someone seeking more information on that topic, and interested parties can listen in. At the end, this audience can add comments and ask questions about themselves. Yeah, this seems like a YouTube channel and a podcast. For those who missed the live conversations, the podcast will be uploaded on GAIN's website. Developers interested in learning more about GAIN can follow this. Wow. Like, straight up, this straight up is just a podcast pretending to be a charity. Well, that was a waste of time. And I've got so many tabs open. So many. There you go. Can I play this and that? In the turn. A Hat in Time adds mod support and is hosting a $1,000 mod contest. They start this Rock Paper Shotgun article by showing a picture of the character from A Hat in Time in the first level in Super Mario 64. Mod support honestly didn't seem like something that I felt like A Hat in Time was gonna need or get. I suppose at the core, they're doing a little cheating here. A Hat in Time is effectively Super Mario 64 or a game like that, designed to, at the very least, invoke a lot of emotion from that nostalgia. And because you know that there will never be a Nintendo game on PC, this really is the only way you can play it on PC. I believe Hat in Time also is on Xbox and PlayStation. Two other places you'll never see in a Mario game. So, by adding mod support, it is not impossible to think that a few of the people who would like to play Super Mario 64 could now mod all of Super Mario 64 into A Hat in Time, and then potentially maybe not get copyright claimed and harassed by Nintendo when they're playing that on YouTube, or even if you leave the YouTube element out, they could potentially be having a better experience by playing Mario 64 or something very similar to Mario 64 on a PC instead of having to pull out the original Nintendo 64 or maybe playing the DS remake, both of which are pretty old. They've also adapted Mario's hat from Odyssey and Raz's goggles from Psychonauts and Lilac's headgear from Freedom Planet. What does that look like? So this would be really cool if A Hat in Time just grows in popularity. Right now it's rated E10 up. A Hat in Time is a great example of a game that's not super built around a violent gameplay mechanic. One of the many people on the internet that tried to make a rebuttal video, I imagine there were several rebuttal videos to the collage of violent actions that were being shown in the White House's video of video games are violent, tried to make a collage video from games that aren't violent. Unfortunately, they did a really bad job of it because the argument falls apart a little bit when they're showing the fancy, cool elements of Horizon Zero Dawn. That argument is easily attacked because Horizon Zero Dawn actually is mostly, to my knowledge, built around a violent gameplay mechanic. You are attacking the robot dinosaurs, you are trapping and hunting them and killing them. So just because you got the one scene of that, they also use scenes from The Last of Us. A significant portion of The Last of Us is shooting and fighting monsters. Monument Valley, a great example of a game that, Monument Valley 2, I don't believe it actually does have any violent gameplay mechanics, so that would have been a good example. But they seem to be very focused on the idea of showing modern and realistic looking games, and when you talk about modern and realistic looking games, the truth is that a lot of those are very violent or built around violent gameplay mechanics. Let's see. Destroy all enemy minions. Do this. So yeah, A Hat in Time would have been a good choice. Sonic games also a little violent in them. A Hat in Time right now is 33% off at $20.09. Being an E10 plus rated game, it kind of is a high priority game for me. Unfortunately, I'm signed out of Steam, and so now I need to sign back in. Like, more kids game is always a good thing for me, for my channel, particularly since we know YouTube doesn't really want me to cover the adult games, which frankly, apparently Steam doesn't even want some adult games. Because there was a game, a visual novel of two anime girls falling in love, romance novel type there. And there was an uncensored patch, as has been sort of allowed, and or at the very least turned a blind eye to by Valve. And oddly, House Party had a uncensored patch. I don't know, maybe they got rid of that, but I think they still have an uncensored patch. And House Party was directly advertised on my front page on sale just yesterday. And House Party looks a lot worse than this visual novel does. And so the rumor is, and this is one of those stories that's not getting reported in the West media, so I only have one source, and it could be completely wrong because it's a very biased source, but I tend to trust it. The story is somebody used the uncensored patch on this game, got a uncensored nude or sex scene, whatever the game that wasn't being sold on Steam, and then contacted customer support and demanded it be taken down. And so visual novels still are an issue because there's still that divide between what Valve wants and what Valve's sensibilities are, and what the oops. That wouldn't have really saved me anyways. Valve certainly wants money from visual novels. They just don't seem like they're willing to accept what a visual novel usually is, which is it's a romance that often is written by Japanese or Asian people who aren't as prudish about kissing and nudity and sex. Tragic Master came on and he said best intro card, Halazeal. I don't know what Halazeal is. Is that a new card that they're adding to the new expansion? Still trying for a Paladin victory. PC Gamer has an article, see inside Valve's stunning new office, and there's a picture of a giant inflatable unicorn, and there are giant lollipops and trees. Let's just go through all of this. There's stairs with a Valve. I guess they did redesign their office because where the Valve was before, last time I saw it, was inside the place with windows, and now it is in the middle of a large room with one wall of windows to the outside. So they either redesigned or moved offices. Moving offices done strategically could be a great way to put some new life into a company just by like making it a little harder for some employees to commute and making it a little easier for other employees to commute, just to kind of drive them out, or at the very least put a new feeling on things. On the other hand, it can also be an incredible waste of time, as the offices actually are getting remodeled, adding distraction and confusion. But I don't think Valve has any problem with that, as I'm looking at a table that is just full of toys and board games. And I assume that a lot of these things are items, swag that they designed and gave away, being put on a mini display. Here's a picture I'm looking at where somebody's looking, has a chair to a window with a telescope that is not pointed upward. So they are looking at something in the far distance that is not in the sky. I cannot confirm or deny what they're looking at, however. I think they showed some restraint. There's only one picture here I see with a with yellow on the walls. You could well, I mean orange on the walls. You could have certainly done a terrible job of painting everything orange in Valve. Here's a picture of a private phone room, which is always a nice thing. And then here's a streaming room that's all in red right now. That doesn't look good at all. And then a wall of tiled pixel art things. There's just a lot of stuff here. And I'm at like the 20th picture, and second to last picture in this PC Gamer article. And this is the first picture I've seen of whatever desks are supposed to be, where people are supposed to work, and really much of any of the employees. And looking at these desks, I don't think they're on wheels anymore. So in the remodel, maybe they finally gave up that joke, which wasn't really a joke, where Valve employees' desks were on wheels, so that if they were interested in a project, they just moved their desk to the floor that people were working on that project and started working on it. And as soon as they lost interest in that project, they just moved their desk to something else. If that's no longer the case, if desks have to be in certain places, if people have to be in certain places, that is helpful at the very least, to force people to actually work a job like a normal person. Here's the final picture is Gabe Newell. Gabe Newell in his latest announcement, and their conference room looks a lot better too. Like the tables were all marked up and scratched in the last time. Gabe Newell, at the very least, dyed his hair, but it does look like he also lost some weight, and so that's kind of nice that he looks a little bit healthier, a little bit better. He's wearing sandals without socks, which I suppose if you're going to wear sandals and you're the boss, you should wear it without socks, but that's so gross. The tables in the conference room that he's in do have wheels on them, but that's not surprising. And he's talking about Artifact in the picture, and still not interested. So the third game that revolves around the mouse, called Ghost of a Tale, is out of early access according to Rock Paper Shotgun. Let's see. It's $25. Let's look at it at Steam. It's overwhelmingly positive, with 95% of the game being of people rating it positively. That is an amazingly successful game, then how many reviews is that? 616 reviews, 95% are positive. What do I want to do? Let's attack here, attack here, do this, play this, attack here, and then the turn. This is an E for everyone game. We're getting some nice kid-friendly games. An interesting thing happened as I'm looking at these reviews. On my personal Facebook, one of my friends asked her friends if what are good horror movies for a preteen to watch, which is quite an interesting thought in the first place. Of what do you mean by preteen? Because to me, a preteen is 9 years old or earlier, at least if you follow the dictionary definition of a teenager being somebody in their teens. But I do fully recognize that most people probably wouldn't call a 10 or 11-year-old a teenager. You'd probably call them a preteen, and it's teenagers are closer to 14 or 15, and depending on the person, the kid, you don't know. So they're asking what are good horror movies for a preteen, and people are suggesting the absolute worst suggestions possible. They're like The Exorcist, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Psycho, all terrible examples for the first horror movie for somebody to watch. Like, The Exorcist falls apart on so many different ways. First of all, you don't want the first movie in any genre to be what is arguably the best movie in any genre. Second of all, The Exorcist is way too scary and dirty and offensive and gross for a preteen. You're gonna horribly traumatize it. Even things like The Never-Ending Story, which is more of a fantasy with horror elements in it. Some horror scenes was pretty traumatic to people of my generation and thereabout. Even like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is another great example of something that isn't probably the right way to go. So I suggested to them, like movies with horror scenes, but not the full movie. Things like The Nightmare Before Christmas is probably a good one. Coraline's probably a good one. Spirited Away is probably a good movie, and Spirited Away is not a horror movie, clearly, but let's see. But things like that. I didn't make a super long list of horror movies for preteen to introduce people into. There is such an extremely long list of bad suggestions, and sadly you kind of have to throw out for most parents the anime horrors incompletely, because you wouldn't a Western, a person from the United States would not be cool with any of the anime horror things. I'm looking at my horror shelf, and Berserk, Demon City, Shinjuku, Devil Lady. Let's see, what else do we have that are supposed to be horrific things? Like, it just doesn't work. Like, it just would not be appropriate, or would not work, and unless your kid was not really a teen and they were closer to 17 or 18 and they were already in anime. And there really aren't a lot of horrific things. People suggesting Beetlejuice, I would argue that Beetlejuice pretended like it was a kid-friendly show after the movie came out and kind of flopped, but actually the movie, it was supposed to be an adult movie. There's a ton of terrible like scary kids movies that aren't worth watching. That's certainly a problem too. So apparently I did get a new card there. I'm surprised. I've really hit the point where I don't think I can get too many new. Like, why wouldn't that be new? Wouldn't that be new? That seems like a glitch. Like, I don't think I was missing these two cards for classic cards. And when we talk classic and missing, I'm gonna hit a point where these Tavern Brawls need to start handing me something other, or I'm gonna just get gold on top of gold cards, which maybe I'll sell the gold cards and get more dust. So where are we now? We're looking for 4 more Paladin victories. If we can get that done, that would be nice. I also tried, here we'll try Murloc and we'll just go through all these. I tried to play the single player game, what is it, where you fight the bosses, the dungeon run mode on my main account for a couple hours after last stream. Maybe some people sold me on. Didn't succeed, and I really don't know if I'm gonna. I'm almost certain I don't have time to finish the dungeon runs while doing everything else with 3 accounts. So I don't think even on my main account that I'll ever get whatever it was. Was it the candle or some card that you had to beat the dungeon run with all 9 of the of the hero classes? I've beaten the dungeon run with 3 of the classes, but I'm not having great success with the others. This game, Hearthstone, just takes too much time. Let's see. Greetings and play and in the turn. I'm looking at the negative reviews of Ghost of a Tale. One of them's rated negative because it says we need Chinese. There seems to be a very consistent thing that Valve is going to have to start addressing really fast is the jingoistic demands of countries to say we will rate your game negatively if you don't write and spend the money to translate the game into our language, whatever that language is. And often it's Chinese and Russian because there's a lot of Chinese and Russian people out there. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of these negative reviews are part of an actual government effort to spread influence. A war of influence in the video game industry. Feels like it very well may be occurring right now. Let's hit this. Let's see. Let's see. You see. Here's another disclosure saying the game was bought by the reviewer. I don't know why people think they need to disclose that. I can't find a good short review here for why it's negative. And considering how it's overwhelmingly positive, I can't really find a reason to give credibility to the negative reviews. I mean, there's always going to be a few people that just don't like a game. Um, let's see. Here's a short one. Let me start by saying that I love this concept and visuals from the trailer and screenshots, but this game starts up in a black screen and nothing seems to be working. I've tried to uninstall, reinstall. And so, like, when you have negative reviews because the game doesn't work on your PC, that's not something that's helpful. And some of these are early access reviews. But so it seems like Ghost of a Tale has been patching. It probably shouldn't have come out in early access, but I really have to dismiss any negative criticism now when the last 30 days has 95% positive, 616 reviews. It seems like it's a great success. And it's odd that that one's not getting talked about more, because you would think it should be. Counter spell, darn it. Well, we'll just do this. And that one. And that one. And attack. And attack. And then the turn. Moving on, PC Gamer has the best Witcher 3 mods. I don't know why I would really want Witcher 3 mods, because I think the game is pretty perfect as it is. So they have like a debug console enabler, Nexus mod manager, mod merger, fast travel from anywhere, all quest objectives on the map, which maybe that would be helpful, but I never really felt like... The only thing I ever had a problem with the map on Witcher 3 was that there was that whole section where you're in the Skellig Isles, I believe it was, and you're just doing a lot of busy work, looking for sunken treasure, and then there was one dot on the map that I could never get in. Additional stash locations, preparations mod, friendly meditation, friendly heads-up display, lamps on player's boat, disables storybook videos. That could be useful. That's just kind of a loading screen. Jump in shallow water. Like, yeah, no real crazy mods here for Witcher 3. It's not like Skyrim where it's new armor, new characters, new levels. There's no mention here in this article of anything like that. Maybe the way you can mod Witcher 3 is different than the way you can mod Skyrim. Speaking of mods, the plan to remake Fallout 3 in Fallout 4's engine has now been cancelled. The people working on it, the fan group that was working on it, talked with Bethesda / ZeniMax, their parent company, and they were told that they would be responsible for any like claims of copyright infringement. I think they were told very nicely that they were going to get sued, basically, if they used any of the audio from Fallout 3. So then they would either have to hire lesser quality voice actors to replace all the voice acting in Fallout 3. For some reason, they were told specifically they couldn't just use or extract the audio from people's hard drives if they already own Fallout 3. I imagine the only reason why that would actually legally be the case is that there's actual encryption in the DMCA. It makes it illegal to break encryption now, which that is also still BS because ZeniMax and Bethesda could give them the de-encryption game software. They could release tomorrow a program that de-encrypts all of the audio, at the very least, from Fallout 3, then any mod that wants to use that audio in Fallout 4 could do it, or Fallout 3. The truth of the matter is, Fallout 4 didn't succeed as well as Bethesda wanted, and now they're trying to hold on in their back pocket a thought of re-releasing Fallout 3 themselves, and they don't want the competition. And at the very least, they didn't make it sound like they were just DMCAing and suing the people out of existence, but effectively that is what they were going to do. That's always what they were going to do, and that's kind of what they did. Any other interpretation is probably too much hopeful thinking. Maybe there could have been a solo use license on the voice acting for the actors in Fallout 3, so that you couldn't, even in a remaster, use those voices without renegotiating the contract. But I seriously doubt it. Nobody would have made a contract like that for Bethesda. Bethesda has too many lawyers on their side to do something like that. So it's just another project that, just don't ever announce your projects. And frankly, don't ever do projects like that. Like, if you're going to make a fan project like that, you need to have it completely finished before you announce anything. And then here's the source code that's out. It's completely done. We've been doing it in secret for 4 years. That's the only way projects like that ever make it to fruition. And the better thought, in my opinion, is to take the same effort and thought and just make a new game. It's not insane to think that maybe you could make something that's a lot less grand than Fallout 3, but in the same spiritual feeling, but it still be its own thing instead of just a remake of what already was there. Like, the only people that you can really trust to remake a game is the original creators. Alright. Let's see. If I do this, this won't work. If I do this. So I'm just gonna do this and then end the turn. PC Gamer has an article, Twitch Prime now offering free games. I don't know what this really means. It seems like Twitch Prime has been offering free games every month, or nearly every month, since the beginning. So, like, maybe they've got enough in their lineup now where they can say for certain that every month you will get at least one free game. That's about the only thing I can assume is what they mean by this. Prime members will get new games every month, beginning this month with Superhot and Oxenfree, which, like, this was written a day ago, and this is a PC Gamer article, so it seems like obvious. Let's see how they phrase this. Twitch has sweetened its Prime pot with the addition of free games with Prime, a new program with a very self-explanatory title. If you subscribe to Twitch Prime, you'll get free games every month. The program will kick off March 15th with Superhot and Oxenfree. I guess the only thing that is different now is the consistency, because we definitely were getting free games every now and then, but maybe it was once every 2 months or so, and now we'll probably get less loot like skins and virtual currency and things like that. You still Pay $13 a month for Amazon Prime/Twitch Prime, or $100 a year. They are going to slowly try to raise the price on you for that. I know they are. They've already done it a couple times. Twitch Prime for me has, well, I've claimed the games. They use the Twitch launcher, which I'll never really use. So for me, it's been most successful in the fact that it gives me an occasional 3 packs for Hearthstone, but only for 1 account, so it's not even super generous in that instance. Yeah, that certainly feels like more of a press release than an actual announcement, if anything. Activision is eyeballing the Battle Royale genre. Now, the interesting thought about Activision Blizzard potentially making a Battle Royale game is you can't immediately assume it's just going to be all the Overwatch characters. I would say it has to probably be all the Overwatch characters and all of the Diablo characters and all the StarCraft characters and all the World of Warcraft characters, and it has to be something crazy like Heroes of the Storm, except for it would be, I don't know, Heroes Battle Royale or Heroes of the Storm Battle Royale would be my guess on what you would want to do there. Or you could lock it down into something more specific, and it could be a Battle Royale mode with just Demon Hunters from Diablo, or just World of Warcraft characters. I don't know why you would specifically want to limit yourself in that fashion, but that kind of is the only thing I can imagine that would work. It's just the end of our turn. And honestly, by the time Activision Blizzard had a game that was a Battle Royale game, the Battle Royale fad may very well be finished. Suppose you could have a Destiny Battle Royale game, and that wouldn't be a terrible thought. That actually might work relatively nicely. Let's see. This. Save this one. Play this one. In the turn. Yeah, if you had the Destiny characters in a Battle Royale mode, that would prop up Destiny 2, and it would fill in the niche better than anything else, because compared to Overwatch, Destiny is the standard first-person shooter game. You then just need some kind of level and maybe a twist or two to make it stand out, like, yeah, some kind of level designs. Let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on this guy. We already talked about that. It took me a while to get going after the last stream, but I actually did play all the way through Full Throttle Remastered for the first run through. I want to do a director's commentary run, but that'll be mostly just a speed run. I wouldn't be surprised if it takes less than 3 hours to do it a second time, since I just played the game once already. Full Throttle is a game that I really love for its style, but when you actually look at it and actually try to play it, it's a mess. It's not a good game. I don't know how you say it any other way. It's just got problems. It's not a great point-and-click adventure game. Very little point-and-click. There's no extra items you collect in the entire game. Every single item you find is supposed to be used and will be used. The 3-act structure would have been a decent thought if there was more to each of the acts, but it's just incredibly short and filled with so many experimental mini-game things that aren't point-and-click adventure experiences. Let's see, do this, and then do this. I should have not played this first. I should have played this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. We had talked about Dota Plus. I looked at that game. Here's an article on Game of Sutra talking about a game called Penny Blue Finds a Clue, which I don't believe is out yet. So it's more of a interview, maybe an internal interview on the development of a game that's going to IGF. And apparently Blade Strangers is coming to the Nintendo Switch, or is available for pre-order on Amazon. I ended up on an Amazon.com listing, and that seems strange. I don't know what Blade Strangers is, but it definitely looks like a anime game. For whatever that is worth. There's a report that the Fruit Ninja creator Halfbrick has cut its workforce by 50%. Not super surprising. These mobile games that were popular 4 or 5 years ago now are not seeing any repeated success. Cell phones are definitely a different thing. And I'm about to lose. Apparently Halfbrick laid off 30 employees, which amounts to around half the entire workforce. So there's 30 people in that company. There's another office in Spain, but they don't know if they laid people off there too. Apparently all of the Toys R Us's have been shut down. Why are you even playing this strategy? I'm gonna have another rage moment here. It's like, you've got the victory, take the victory, don't play this stupid strategy. You don't need to show off that you're so good at playing the meta deck that is the only meta deck worth playing on Mage at all. I guess right then that was my turn. I could have just irritated them by waiting the full turn. Fruit Ninja made more money than you would have been surprised. Like, this is ridiculous. Take the victory or don't. Take the victory or don't. Quit screwing around. Win. Rank 21 play. And over half a month now, I guess we'll play casual. Half a month now, and we still haven't seen people playing that meta deck actually succeed and get higher. Alright, well, it's been 45 minutes. We are decently close to getting 2 things done, even if they are the wrong 2 things. So if I just accidentally, in playing Paladin, get 9 more spells and get this done and get 1 more victory, that'll be fine. We are over 5,000 for, I believe, every account, so the 50 card packs make a lot of sense. I kind of suspect now what we'll want to do when the new expansion happens is open 50 card packs on my main account of the new expansion, and no classic card packs on my main account. And then I feel like we'll probably want to get at least 10 card packs on the Asian and European accounts to get that first legendary that they supposedly give you. I assume that hasn't changed. And then get 40 classic card packs and try and get more classic cards. So at the very least, I have a better chance to have consistent, similar, standard decks built for each account, so I know what to do and I know how to play. If I have some kind of crazy wild decks on my main account, that's fine, but I want more options, more things that will last longer. That's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. If you want to support me, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.